Good evening, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, whether you're in on Facebook Live or whether you are from the Zoom, from our group that's called the Go Zoom. Welcome to our 9th episode of the New Talk Show. And so it's actually, this show promises incredible content with credible people. And tonight episode especially, we bring you a special edition for our very first talk. That is the first limelight series where our coaches will share their specialty. Where, for example, Frederick is our business astrologer. Will be presenting to you a blind birth charts reading for a mystery guest. And who is that guest? Okay, nobody knows except me. Even Mandd and Frederick do not know, and do not know even is a male or female. Okay, all right. So basically, right, this particular Frederick will actually reveal into the depth of this particular character without any even meeting the person. Let's find out. So without any further ado, let's welcome our one and only Frederick H. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome him.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. A very good evening, everyone. I am so honored and thank you for being here. So honored to be co-hosting this episode with my buddies here on this show thus far. And tonight, I am presenting to you a mystery chart reading, right, as a showcase of how astrology works in describing a person's nature and personality, even without first knowing who the person is. And I have honestly never seen this person before, just the birth chart of this individual. All right. So the reason why I chose to do a blind chart reading is because for every astrologer who wants to be professional, effective, and precise needs to understand the fundamentals of the trait and to read the chart as it is confidently as well, so that the client can gain deeper insights into his or her conscious and unconscious self. Now, the key thing about being an astrologer is to help every client regain his or her confidence by uplifting his or her potentials through encouragement and understanding the information presented on his or her birth chart. Now, as a business astrologer, my ultimate passion is to help a million more business owners and self-employed professionals find their sole purpose and passion to attain emotional and financial freedom through astrology. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so to reach out to me, okay, you can scan the QR code portals to access my website or my Instagram, where I post all my valuable contents about astrology. Go check that out. Here are some vital information about me. I am a business astrologer and I practice traditional astrology with some modern approaches. I know there are a lot of astrologers around the world who have their own preference in terms of styles and methodologies. I prefer to, prefer to stick to tradition at the same time, using whatever techniques that work for me. Now, I created Chiron Foundation. It's pronounced that way because Chiron is an asteroid, okay, that bears the name of a mythological creature whose name is Chiron. So according to Greek mythology, Chiron was a centaur who was wise, knowledgeable, and skilled in various arts such as music, medicine, archery, and prophecy. Now, he was an immortal, and he was wounded by an arrow that's shot by his friend Hercules. So because Chiron was an immortal, he couldn't die, but because of the wound that he suffered, it was unimaginably painful. Can you imagine? That's eternal hurt and immense pain from that wound. So to end his suffering, Chiron decided to sacrifice himself and his immortality to free Prometheus from his chains in Hades, and then took his place. And so he died. And therefore his pain was finally gone for good. Chiron was called the wounded healer. And so I picked this name because of its significance and what I aim to do for every client: to heal, to bring insights and transformation into the person's life, using astrology as a guiding tool. Okay, so like Mandd, I'm also a certified clinical hypnotherapist. Additionally, I am a psychologist and psychotherapist by training. Furthermore, I am a certified Master Enneagram and NLP executive coach. And for more information, you can look me up on my website, chironfoundation.com. Next slide, please. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to interpret a birth chart tonight for a mystery guest. Before that, you may ask me, Frederick, what is a birth chart? So a birth chart is like a story of your life created for you since the day you're born. And just like everyone's fingerprint, which is different, your life written for you on the birth chart is also different. Okay. Here's the fun fact. You can still get the same birth chart as the other person's birth chart, but you will need to wait at least 25,000 years or more. And that's how unique you are. And that's why when you know your birth chart, it has everything unique about you that others do not have. And it's incredibly accurate. Here's why. Let's go to the next chart. Your birth chart actually contains the blueprint of concrete events that will unfold within your lifetime. Now, this blueprint is known as the natal promise. Some would call it destiny or fate. Let's go to the last slide. So specifically for today's presentation or demonstration, we will explore how I describe someone's destiny using the birth chart. So another reason why I'm doing this demonstration is because there are several ways on how we interpret the birth chart, both in the traditional way, okay, traditional astrology's perspective, as well as the modern astrology perspective. Now, I want to highlight that I am not a psychological astrologer, and I don't use the modern astrology approaches as much as the traditional approaches in my style of interpreting the birth chart. If you are curious to know the differences between a psychological astrologer and a traditional astrologer, I will be leaving a description down at the comment section below later on so that you will know the difference. All right, so let us begin. I'm just going to flash out the charts in a jiffy. Okay, I would like to... It's going to look a little bit technical here. just bear with me here. Can you guys see it, or should I just make it really bigger? Right.
Yes, we can see it.
Right.
Okay, this is good.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So I just want to double check on this person. I only know this person by the gender, which is a female. So if this is the case, I would like the mystery guest to type in the chat, okay, to confirm if your data is correct. Now, for everyone, right, just type yes if it's correct. Okay, for everyone, okay, good. Okay, so for everyone here, you just keep everything here confidential, okay? Yeah, because everything here is being interpreted for this client here. Okay, so what we have here is a birth chart. This is what we have here. The first thing that we look at for every chart. Now, before I begin, it's very common for us astrologers to make certain interpretation using some astrology language. I know it's going to be tough to understand for some beginners or laymen, but in order for me to reduce the astrology language usage, I do my best. But at the same time, I got to let you know where the placement is so that you will know exactly why I say why I said. All right, just bear with me. Okay, I'm telling it as it is as an astrologer, and I'm also open for Q&A at the end of the reading. Right after we review who the person is tonight. So the first thing that we look at is the ascendant. Can you see my mouth moving here? My mouse.
Yes.
This is where the ascendant. Now, the ascendant is right here in the first house of the chart. So why I look at the ascendant as the very first thing that I look at on the chart is because the ascendant is the most important place in everybody else's birth chart. Why so? Because ascendant is like a rising sign. Rising sign means the first impression that people have of you. It's the vibe that you give. It's the first impression that you give off when people meet you. And the ascendant is a place where you exhibit your looks, your appearance, your health, your early life. It tells you about how connected you are to your childhood, how you started your life. It talks about your life's approach, how you tackle life's challenges and see the world. And it also has connections to clues about your overall energy and well-being. And also it tells you about how you act and interact with the world around you. And the ascendant is like the cover. Some say it's like a cover of your life's book, giving you a sneak peek into your story. So the ascendant is the first thing we look at. It reflects on who you actually are. So moving to the ascendant, the second thing that we look at on the ascendant is whether there are any aspects, like hidden aspects or any obvious aspects. So from what I see here, there are no hidden aspects whatsoever. Only obvious aspects, but let's go on. Okay, let's continue. Okay. All right, so because of the obvious aspects, what are they? They are the planets. Is there any planets? No, no planets here. You can see there's a lot of planets up here, but you don't see any planets in the ascendant. All right, and the symbol right here is Aquarius. So what this tells me is that she is a rising Aquarius. That's her ascendant. And Aquarius is actually fixed air. It's a fixed air sign ruled by Saturn. It's called Aquarius rising. And this means that in this lifetime, the element air is her chief operating system. Whether or not she has the ability to manifest this depends on the factors that's on the chart itself. And as she has the air element as the operating system within this lifetime, it goes to show that she has, or rather she likes to be involved in having a quick flows of ideas, views life, view life from an intellectual perspective, thinking, writing, talking, anything related to various forms of communication, networking, social networking, and innovating new ways to deal with challenges or to solve problems. Her rational mind will tend to outweigh some of her emotions from time to time, as she may consider, the world of emotion to be rather irrational in a way. She has this high sense of fairness and, a logical thought process. Her weakness of having the air operating system is that she may view emotions in a disparaging light. She may face difficulty, making decisions sometimes, even when in the process of weighing the pros and cons in a logical manner. One of the main challenges of the air element is that she needs to stay grounded, all right? And the challenge is to stay grounded and practical in her approach to life. Whereas one of the main strengths of the air element is that she has the ability to innovate and creatively generate ideas that are original and are able to solve the real problems in real life. So that's the problem solving part. Apart from the air element, she has this, what we call fixed modality as well. So I'm going to combine fixed and air together and call it fixed air. As you know, air likes to be free and moving around the place. Think of it as vapor, right? And without anything to contain this air. Okay, so when air is fixed and contained, guess what happens? You picture that it stays in its place. And you can imagine that the freedom-loving air hates to be contained or caged up. So therefore, what you get is a character that likes to challenge the status quo or do things differently just to be unconventional. And sometimes some people like this are viewed as rebellious in a creative or innovative way. At the same time, preserving that, that freedom-loving nature, and the desire to do what deems fit, giving her that strong conviction, sometimes stubbornness, a little bit of persistence in her work and life. Also being loyal to ideas, sometimes to a fault. She is someone who is also socially aware, steadfast in her beliefs and values. She's also rather future-oriented as she thinks about the future, probably visionary by nature, and this has some broader implications of her actions as well. All right, so her ascendant ruler, Aquarius, is ruled by Saturn. So it is actually Saturn. So let's go and find where Saturn is. So Saturn is here. Saturn is here at the 9th house, which is Libra right here. Saturn is here in the 9th house. And Saturn in Libra is what we call an exaltation. So what we see here is that, I'm just going to break this down first, and then I'll go through the interpretation later. So what we see here is that Libra is also, this symbol is Libra. It is also ruled by Venus, and Venus is found here in the 8th house. All right, so these are what the placements that I'm trying to highlight here. So as such, we view that Saturn and Venus actually do have some correlationship, or rather what we call conjunction in astrology. So a conjunction represents this blending of energies. So the blending of two planets' energies, Saturn and Venus, because Saturn is in Libra, Libra is ruled by Venus. So when Saturn and Venus meet, what we have as a result is that someone who has the persistence of working hard for a reward and doesn't mind the delayed gratification as long as the labor is stable, consistent, and that the results are achievable at the end. This shows also that she may be someone who takes a relationship seriously and might be attracted to older partners or those who offer stability and structure in a relationship. The sense of duty and responsibility is important to her when in a relationship or partnership. That usually includes sense of fairness, justice, balance in her life. She may be particularly concerned with ensuring that relationships are built on mutual respect and understanding, one that stands the test of time, right? And therefore, she can be rather cautious when it comes to selecting romantic partners. And hence, there could be some delays in falling in love, or sometimes hard lessons to learn in love. Now, this could manifest as feeling sometimes restricted or limited in relationships. Okay, so this Saturn right here, this Saturn placement right here in the 9th house, which is also a Caden house. I'm not going to what Caden is, but the 9th house is associated with higher learning, philosophy, religion, long distance travel, foreign cultures, and broader worldview. So it's an area where you are on a quest for, meaning, expansion beyond your immediate environment. So this placement means that she deals with relationships with foreign cultures. So I wouldn't be surprised if she has some dealings with people like foreigners, people from other countries, international delegates or whatsoever. So it could either be through business partnerships or collaborations, marriage, or other forms of relational commitment. So work-related long distance travel for programs. Okay, she tends to have some strong sense of duty towards understanding or upholding justice, fairness, and ethics on a broader scale. Right? This could manifest in interest in law, especially international law, or in advocating for justice in global matters. So these are highly possible areas. In terms of challenges, she might experience some delays or challenges in pursuing higher education, traveling abroad, or understanding different philosophies at one point in her life. Yet these challenges, right, are teachers for her since the beginning of her life. This is to train her up on the importance of patience, the importance of perseverance. And besides, I think she can take up, if she can take up some mediating role to ensure that, ensuring all sides are heard and understood. I think that is quite suitable too. The ruler of the 9th house, Venus. Now, ruler of the 9th house is Libra here. It's Venus. It's found in the 8th house on her chart. Now, this 8th house is often referred to as the house of transformation. It's a house of regeneration and rebirth. Now, this house deals with shared resources, as well as things that are considered taboo or deeply hidden. When Venus is placed in the 8th house here, she may tend to demand high level of commitment from her both her business partner and romantic partner. Joint business partnerships is typically for dealings with people from foreign cultures or backgrounds may be appealing and a source of fulfillment for her. If she has a spouse, it is likely that she will benefit financially through joint projects or business partnerships with her spouse. The industry she could find fulfillment in likely to be goods and services industry, or one that enables her to kind of utilize the resources of a different kind, either her own resource or somebody else's. When we look at Venus, which is in the sign of Virgo here, this is the sign of Virgo. Okay, there's the little M there. And the ruler of Virgo is Mercury, and Mercury is found here in Libra again. All right, so we can see that Venus is supporting Mercury here. Mercury is also supporting Venus. All right, this is how we look at it. So we can say that she seeks perfection in relationships, and she values acts of service as expressions of love. Now, she is rather critical, discerning also at the same time when it comes to matters of the heart, and also we can say aesthetics as well. Now, when it comes to shared resources, finances, inheritance, or investments, she tends to be meticulous, rather analytical when dealing with these. She is, however, sensitive, attentive to her partner's needs, and may shower him with practical support. Yeah, so think act of service. Her sun in the 8th house. The sun is here. Now, sun is in the 8th house as well. Venus is also in the 8th house. Now, the sun in the 8th house is actually the dispositor of Mercury, which means that her sun has a significant influence over Mercury's expression in the 9th house. So this indicate, right, that she continually analyzes and sometimes self-critique her beliefs, her philosophy, sometimes her knowledge that she gains from what she learned in life through higher learning, higher education, or sometimes through foreign interactions. At the same time, she has an eye for detail. She may have an eye for detail, all right? She loves order, particularly in her daily life, including everything from organized household to properly planned social calendar. However, from a traditional astrology's perspective, what I notice is that her sun is a drifter. Okay, in astrology we call it peregrine, but peregrine planet is something like a homeless traveler without a home on the birth chart. Okay, so this is what I noticed. So what this means is that it doesn't have strong connection. The sun does not have strong connection to the sign that is in, which is Virgo. So which means that the expression of Virgo is not very strong. So if you say that she is attentive to details, she's not very highly attentive to details. She is just normal. She is just like average in terms of being detail-oriented, analytical, and service-minded. She does have that. She does have some inclinations to that, but it doesn't give that dominant expression in her life. So she is rather a bit more flexible and adaptable in how she expresses herself. So this is what it means when I look at the sun placement here. Now the sun in the 8th house, as we know, she is likely to face challenges head on and is unafraid to experience total transformation in her life, even if she has to go through hell just to redeem the grand reward. So in the house of death, now 8th house is the house of death. So how I interpret this is that death refers to the beginning of the next life, which is transformation from one state to another state. Now she welcomes change. It's, whether it's a big change or a small change, she's able to adapt effectively well in the midst of crisis, depending on other sections of her birth chart. But specifically on this, she's likely to benefit through financial inheritance also, because 8th house is about inheritance. It also means shared fortune, financial fortune, gaining financial fortune, either through her partnerships or even after partnership has ended, or it could be somewhere else. Right? Her sun is actually an important planet in astrology. It represents her core identity. And looking at all the lines here, these are what we call aspects. These are what we refer to as how the planets interact. Now, her sun has some hard aspects to her Neptune, which is right here in the 11th house. The sun has a red line drawn here, which is a hard aspect to Neptune. So what this means is that, okay, she is rather sensitive person. Okay, she may be, rather, she may tend to be overwhelmed by her empathy and sometimes may doubt herself or question her own attributes. And also, nonetheless, she has that what we call the creative and artistic, inclination, and is rather self-expressive, especially to someone she is close to on a personal and interpersonal level. Now, her sun forms an easy aspect to another place. I'm just going to highlight it here. This is the sun. It has an easy aspect to Chiron. So you know where Chiron foundation comes from. So Chiron is here. This is the symbol. This is the what we call the wounded healer. Okay, so it forms a easy aspect to Chiron, which is located down south right here, indicating she has this innate ability. Now, this innate ability to actually rise above any problems in life. Okay, so this may be because so this may come in the form of two things, all right? Either because she avoids painful situations, or this may also be because she is empathetic and understanding, and she's able to, cast difficulties into a more positive light. In short, she's a little bit more optimistic, I would say. And she has that ability to listen to others and help them understand their pain. And another thing I noticed is the moon. Let's go to the moon right here. The moon is here on the 9th house also. And because the moon is situated on the 9th house in the sign of Libra, she has what we call also the stellium, because the moon is with Mercury, Saturn, and Pluto. You see all these 4 planets here in the same house on the birth chart. So any house with 3 or more planets is called a stellium, meaning to say there's a lot of things and activities going on in that area of life. 9th house is a house of, like I've mentioned, long distance travel, international dealings, philosophy, teaching, religion, spirituality, all these things. So what a stellium actually means is that, like I've mentioned, 4 planets, I would say 4 planets, not 3 planets, to be more conservative. And now a 9th house stellium indicates that she focused a lot on higher education and is in search of meaning and answers to life's bigger questions, basically in this lifetime, right? And the moon in that 9th house refers to a mother. Okay, it's her mother, who may be someone who constantly pushes her to study hard, a mother who places very high value on learning, on education. So I won't be surprised. I may be wrong, but I won't be surprised if she's a tiger mom. All right. Or the mom has a little bit of a fierce disposition to it. Yeah, just because she wants her to study hard. But her Saturn is in the 9th house, which could symbolize delays, some delays or restriction, especially in the area of, now this is Saturn, in the area of exploring the meaning of life. Eventually, right, the older she gets, she may become more interested in exploring other realm of things, for example, spiritual realm, or it could be philosophical realm. So it could be in the area of, teaching, mentoring, coaching, whatsoever. And also going back to the aspect of the ascendant, the Aquarius ascendant, it has a heart aspect. So it squares her Mars, where her Mars is here, the 10th house. So the red line is called the square, and it's also called the heart aspects. So heart aspects are challenging aspects. Easy aspects are what we call the more positive aspects. And of course, if you have the ascendant with heart aspect to your Mars, she may be somebody who has strong drive and assertiveness when it comes to her career, or maybe in terms of how she deals with people, especially when her boundaries are crossed, she will become confrontational. She can sometimes become a little bit more assertive or maybe aggressive. So do not cross her. It is a separating aspect. So it may mean that earlier in her life, she may experience this, and she may have learned how to effectively manage that rage, that anger, or that confrontational energy over time. So it may not happen now, but way in the beginning, she may probably have that kind of drive, that full force of rage or assertiveness. Now her ascendant forms another square to Uranus, which is just right next to Mars. This is also a heart aspect. So it means that she is someone who has a unique and unconventional way of presenting herself, especially to others, to her networks, to people around. And she may be seen as unpredictable or sometimes a bit on the rebellious side in some cases. This might become more pronounced as she grows older, and also due to certain life experiences as well. She has the ascendant, okay, that forms an easy aspect this time with Pluto. Okay, so this is the easy aspect up to Pluto right here. There's a blue line. Now, this trine easy aspect with Pluto means that she has a powerful presence. She has the ability to influence and transform her environment or draw others to her in a way. So she does have a bit of charisma there. So it may not be a very comfortable thing for her to accept, but over time, she actually grew more comfortable with this disposition. So she may use it. She may or she may not use it to her advantage later in life. So it's all based on her choice, whether she wants to use this charisma. Her ascendant, okay, actually forms a square to her midheaven right here. This is also another hard aspect, another challenging aspect. Now, challenging aspect doesn't mean it's bad. Challenging aspects means that there are certain tension, and once you overcome certain tension, you're able to do a lot of things with your life and become successful. Now, because her ascendant forms a hard aspect to midheaven, midheaven is related to her career. MC means career, reputation, professional image. Now, there may be some disconnect or tension between this ascendant, who she really is, and how she is perceived in her career or public life. Now, we take a closer look at her part of fortune. Her part of fortune on this chart is not located here on the chart, but I have another set of table, which I would say it indicates that the part of fortune is here in the 2nd house. Now, because I'm using solar fire, that doesn't show the part of fortune is showing in another table. I will actually screenshot that and put it in the comment section, because what I notice here, because what I have is a part of fortune in my other chart. It shows that her part of fortune is in the 2nd house, 10 degrees 46 minutes. So I'm just going to take it from here. Now, why I look at the part of fortune, it is very important because it represents the area she finds her joy in her life. Now, it's located in the 2nd house, and 2nd house means house of money, house of assets, house of personal possession. The occupant of the house is Pisces. This indicates that she devotes her life through enriching her sets of values, be it spiritual values or personal talents or resources. She may be drawn to artistic, spiritual, or healing pursuits. There is probably a sense of finding prosperity through the process of surrender, imagination, connecting with intangible realm. Okay, her greatest joy is actually in her experience through compassionate service to humanity. Her financial prosperity or sense of security might be tied to these values and talents, namely intuition and passion. All right, and her Venus, okay, this is where her part of fortune is. Then her Venus is just right opposite the part of fortune. Okay, so what does this mean? When you have an opposition, is also a hard aspect. Now, a challenging aspect with Venus opposite part of fortune means she might experience challenges in balancing her personal values and resources with those of her partners or shared ventures. For example, she might feel torn between pursuing financial security and investing in joint ventures and or maybe shared resources. There could be a tension between wanting to maintain individual independence and the temptation temptation or the allure of merging resources with someone else. Okay, on a deeper level, there could be some tension between finding the balance between tangible and intangible aspects of life, or the material and spiritual pursuits. And because her part of fortune is in the second house, it has also another aspect that is to her north and south node. This is her north node. In Indian astrology, it's called the Rahu. Now, this is the head of the dragon. The tail of the dragon is instinctively opposite, which is here. Yeah, around the 12th house. So 12th house south node, Ketu. Rahu is the north node in the 6th house. Okay, so there is a square relationship with the part of fortune, and there's a triangle here. There's an invisible triangle here. Okay. Just look at it as an invisible aspect. What this means is that right, the 6th house here talks about the importance of service. It's about work and your routine. The 12th house here is the house of loneliness, destitution, and sometimes institution. All right. I just want to be very, very to put it very simply. Right, she gets to learn important lessons in this lifetime by serving others and herself. So having this north node, right? This north node also means that she has, well, I would say, okay, so this north node here and the south node here, they are what we call fate or destiny indicators. Okay, that's about it. So her goal in this lifetime is to aim towards paying greater attention to the details, being more organized so that she can use the transcendental qualities of the 12th house in a way, okay, that because 12th house is a house of unconscious, okay, collective unconscious, and something that she doesn't know or cannot control. It's beyond her control, beyond her will. And having this placement, okay, just means that when she, or rather, it helps her, it helps others as well, the same way it helps herself. It means that she has a lot of dreams also. It doesn't mean that she takes the time or the routine, or she makes the effort to kind of turn them into reality. You can have many dreams, but doesn't mean that all of them she's gonna turn them into reality, right? And she enjoys that imagination. And she likes to be in that, in order to turn her dreams into reality, she needs to work on that structure. She needs that structure of things to be more strategic in her, and being detail oriented in order to feel more fulfilled in her life. What I noticed that she enjoys being alone and spend time by herself. But there is nothing wrong with this, as long as she is doing this in moderation. It's okay to be introverted. It's okay to spend time alone. Just don't be a loner. There's, however, a tendency also to actually quit and jump into the next best opportunity when things get tough. So try not to do that. When things are not running smoothly, you don't run away. You stay put and, stay the course and fight to the very end. Okay. Because there is this tendency. All right. Life will be smoother if she is able to overcome this. And of course, for relationship, between her north node and her south node, there seem to be some association, or rather intrinsic association, to the life purpose related to work, health, and service to others. At the same time, building her dreams and vision in a consistent manner this lifetime. So yeah, and I noticed that this is Cancer right here, sixth house. Now, Cancer ruler is the moon. Okay, the moon is ruling the ninth house of the chart, and therefore her career is better off when taken globally, or internationally. And the nature of it has got to do with maybe teaching, mentoring, coaching, or generally nurturing the mind, the body, or developing the individuals within the career itself. Now, zooming into career portion of the 10th house. Now, the reason why I zoom into 10th house is because it represents career generally. We look at the 11th house also because this is where the MC also is situated, the midheaven. Okay, it's also a telltale sign to me how she earns her living, because 11th house is a representation of the career's income. So it's how she earned her living through the career in the 10th house. So her Uranus is in the 11th house. Jupiter rules the 11th house because it's Sagittarius one. So Jupiter is here and Sagittarius is right here. And so even though she may find some luck and abundance, all right, in the realm of her network, okay, as well as how her company is, deriving its revenue, the revenue itself is rather unpredictable. So there are some highs and lows. In a way, her income is coming in based on the career and on business and pursuit that she chose in life. There are sudden gains, yet at the same time, sudden losses. So there is a Neptune right here. Neptune is a very dreamy and watery planet. So when you have a Neptune right here, it signifies certain creativity that has got to do with her being financially creative or creatively financially creative or being
Financially creative.
finance management. Yeah. And otherwise, she might face some issues later on. I think it's good to organize. It's good to organize her accounts, right? Her finances. Otherwise, there will be problems because Neptune is very blur. All right. Neptune is so blur that, when you have this blur chat in the house of where the income is coming in, especially from the business side, it may indicate ups and downs. But how to manage this ups and downs and balance it is to have it all organized. If not, just get an accountant or so ever. Otherwise, everywhere very, very messy. Okay, so this is the thing. And her midheaven is found here in the 11th house. Now, 11th house is what we call the house of friendship, the house of alliance and collaboration, networking as well. It's very good because when you have MC in the 11th house, a lot of resources comes from her friends. A lot of resources or recommendation actually comes from people she knows in her network. And it means that she has the tendency to also, she's also quite energetic in her career, and also that sense of energy is pretty high. Enjoys that sense of adventure. She's attracted to work that requires her to travel, to teach, to simply, mix it with people and, people from different walks of life and even cultures. So she prefers to have that freedom to roam, that freedom of space to roam, and, especially in her profession, and she doesn't mind the limelight as well. So I have covered all the planets, or roughly, actually all the planets here. And because traditional astrology is all about planets, and it's so planet focused that everything that I've actually gone through are based on what I see on the chart and the placement describing what she actually is. So this is a general interpretation of who she is as a person. I have not actually zoomed in to the intricacies of how or what she would become in the near future. But of course, that would means a different chart already. That would be a separate chart altogether. But this is a general reading of who she is as a person from the very first impression that people would get of her, or when people get to know her a little bit more. So this is it.
So shall we review the person?
So can you send on your video
And your
and
mark?
share with us how so far the question is?
Okay. I see you now.
Okay, Frederick, do you want to actually stop sharing so that
Okay.
communication is easier?
Okay, guys, you are muted.
Yes, you are muted. So you need to press the unmute
Hey guys.
Okay.
Hey.
So
Hey.
how is it so far based on whatever? Okay, first of all, Frederick actually don't know even your gender. That's why it's something that quite surprising that he suddenly asked me, is it a lady? So
Just based on
Yeah.
intuition alone.
Maybe Eliza want to share something based on what Frederick has mentioned and discussed and share with you. Is it true? And what are you doing now? Maybe you want to introduce yourself first before that.
Okay, my name is Eliza, and then I'm in the wedding industry. So mostly I'm a graphic designer actually. Yeah, but okay. What else? You got me there on dreaming. I love to dream. I always I dream a lot, right? Every dream begins with a dreamer. So yeah, most of it I'll write. What else? I think yeah. That's it. I'm not used to this.
Okay, so if I were to give like a score of 100%, like how much do you think I actually scored in terms of like getting the whole entire birth chart all together, as you know, describing you as a person in general?
78%.
Okay, that's cool. That's good enough, because I usually give like 80 to 100% of accuracy. Yeah, that is what I usually would tell my clients.
Maybe I don't want to believe it. I'll give you the 78.
Yeah, actually
Most of it
something
was correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And there are actually some things we don't know about ourselves, and when we look at our charts, we can get surprised as well.
so I think the most important part, because I believe that every one of us very appreciate that Eliza come to share her, in the sense that this is really like your birth chart in front of everybody. So
Yeah.
I noticed that you did share with her that one tip is to organize the finance. What is another tip that you feel that is good for Eliza to take away?
I would say it's good to dream. And if you have any dream that you want to bring it to life, you can do it. And it's my encouragement to you, because your part of fortune has a connection with the notes. And even though it has some tension there, it also tells you, it's a reminder for you to use your part of fortune as a guiding light, as a guiding path for you to find that dream, take control of your dream, and turn it into reality, which you can do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And also, as part of we are from the Go, this is also a Go event. We also invite you, Eliza, to join us Go, and then we can actually go, as what Frederick mentioned. It's good for networking, and I think that you're good for your business as well in the future. Yeah.
And if you realize there's certain things that he keep repeating over and over again until now it's in my mind, is shared resources. And of course, the happy part of growth is when we actually make to accentuate with Nick, and we come out and say, okay, why not we just created this together? And this is where everything actually started and actually flourished on Bloom itself. So it's something that you can actually consider, because you can see a lot of people maybe can be complement in your line, like photography, videography, or even other parts of whatever that can actually help you on the wedding industry.
Yes, you will help your to pleasures because you also have event management here, and will help to your events and maybe recommendation to your clients because you're doing basically weddings and doing wedding gifts basically. So it helps to get more intact and knowledge as for networking is very much more better. And those of you also who are those online and who are on, whether you're on Facebook or whether you're on from Google team, you please do join us on the website. I will just share in the chat to join to the advantage, where you can actually participate, and also it's free. It's moving down, and you can just publish your services and your products, and you can do networking on this particular app. All right. Okay.
And without forgetting, Eliza, do you have anything that you want to ask to Frederick after looking at all of your chat?
I'm going to engage him for one-to-one actually. We're going deeper. The next
Yeah,
one.
because I think Eliza only meet him once at our book launch, and he's my guest. So basically, that's how I was thinking that it should be thing, and then also to help him to tell some story about the true true astrologies based on her birth her birth informations, and I think it's good to have all this to be shared. And for Mandd and me, although we are doing two different type of business and link, so we will also share in our future episodes where not the next one, where we also share on individuals specialties. Yeah.
Because for me, it's a little bit different. What I will do is if Grow member actually listen and there are certain tickling feeling that you always feel inside. It's something that I will actually do really a blind way of like what Frederick did is a blind chart reading. But what I will do is you come to me without telling me what your issue is, and I will help you on the spot live to make sure that whether or not I'm actually real.
Yeah. And for me, on my side, it helps you more on. I'm so far. I'm just to let you know that I'm also collaborating with Eliza at one time for some of her projects, and that's what I met her, and I think it's also a good time for her to go as well. Any more questions? Any from the guests? Any guests? Nora, Mr. Fahmi, Corinne, Kai. Any questions you'd like to ask?
Facebook comments.
Facebook comments, I think there is one particular lady who asked for certain questions, but I think it's a bit too personal. I think I will let the man itself, Frederick, to answer the questions, but we'll be taking that on offline. Yeah. Okay. Without ado, I would like to end this conversation, this talk show for tonight. And I think it's a very good to talk about all these things. And I look forward to you guys to see on our next show for the next week. We will let you know what's the next topic about.
All right.
Okay. All right. And further ado, have a good night, everyone. See ya.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Good night. Bye bye.